Hello, and welcome to Brain Health Matters, a series of books, courses, and programs all designed to help you become healthier so your brain can become happier and stronger. This week, we explore the importance of exercise to help you stay healthier and sharper much longer. I've shared in my books and in our coaching program that a sedentary lifestyle is one of the risk factors for developing dementia. Certainly, it can lead to obesity, which is another risk factor. But being a couch potato means you're not nurturing muscles, which are essential for brain health. That's right. Several studies show that higher leg strength early in life correlates with greater cognitive function years later. This means that greater leg strength can lower the risk of serious cognitive diseases like dementia and Alzheimer's. Another reason to exercise and have stronger muscles: it reduces the likelihood of falls. Research and much anecdotal evidence show that if you fall and become unable to get around for a while or on your own, or you have had a head injury, you have a greater risk of developing dementia. But don't worry, if you weren't working on strength earlier in life, it's not too late. You can improve your strength and cardiovascular health at any age. And our guest this week, Erik LeHane, is going to share many powerful ways to do that. Stay tuned.
Brain Health Matters is brought to you by The Musical Brain, Book 3 in the Healthy Brain series. Enjoy the fun and easy practices in this book to improve your memory, sharpen focus, and master your mind with the healing power of music. Available on Amazon everywhere.
Erik LeHane is a dedicated physical therapist with more than 2 decades of experience. He's dedicated his career to enhancing the well-being of senior individuals through rehabilitation. He's established an exclusive practice that places a special emphasis on preventative physical therapy, aimed at extending the health span and improving the overall quality of life for active seniors. Welcome, Erik.
Thank you so much, Kate. It's my honor and privilege. I really appreciate it.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you here, Erik. You posted in my Facebook group an excellent article, a post, and I just thought we have to get Erik on here to help everybody learn more about the importance of moving.
I really appreciate. I just have one question though before we start. I'm not going to have to play the harp, am I?
I promise no.
Okay, all right. You want to get that out of the way, Kate?
No, but you know what? Even if I made you do that, it would be sounding beautiful because it's pretty hard to make them sound bad.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know then, if it ever
I
comes
learned
up.
Yeah, I learned that pretty quickly because I started playing the harp professionally just 2 years after I took it up. And
Wow.
yeah, it was quite an adventure. We'll talk about that another time.
Okay.
Erik, what inspired you to work with seniors?
Well, I started my career as a personal trainer, and a lot of the clients I started to work with were seniors. And many of these clients I started with, they had so many different problems. I really didn't know how to approach it. It was overwhelming. So I thought, there has to be another way. These people have these whether it was their knee pain or hip pain or they had a disease, it just really confounded me. I didn't know what to do. And so my thinking process said, why does it even have to be this way? So much of what they were dealing with could have been prevented, easily prevented, or at the very least delayed or mitigated. So that's what really got me started working with seniors, because I saw there was definitely a need. And not only that, but I saw I could really make such a large impact in so many of their lives and their families' lives also. So that's what led me down the path to really focusing with seniors.
Perfect. Yeah, because a lot of people kind of steer away from it. It's like, oh, I don't even, what if they break? Really, people worry about things like
Right.
broken hips and all of these
Yeah,
things,
yeah.
which of course is something we can prevent if we're looking after ourselves to begin with. But
Right.
now you're going to be working with people who, what, 50, 55, 65, really?
Yeah, I would say from the 55 and up range, and I focus with active seniors, seniors that have already have a background, a history of a high activity level, and then whether it's something happens, they have an injury or just age related, they start to notice that they're not quite getting out of the chair like they used to, or they find themselves short of breath after an activity that they used to be able to take on without any problems. And it's at that point where I think there's really a fine line. If there's not an intervention, then it becomes so much more difficult as time elapses to really make a difference. And I'm talking a difference in their quality of life as they age and get older, being able to do the activities that they love and enjoy. So I find that is the time where I feel I can make the biggest impact with working with seniors.
Yeah, and when you said about better quality of life, it's so true that when you can't do the things like my husband right now, he was always really active. Now there are so many things he can't do. And besides the physical limitations, it's really hard on your mental health and your well-being. And that can get into a whole big circular. So you feel depressed. And so then you don't even want to move.
It is, no doubt. And that's interesting you brought that up, Kate, because I find with my clients that even the physical, which we're trying to improve, the physical ailment, I would actually say that it's more mental than physical. That mental aspect has makes that big of a difference, that these people have become depressed because they're no longer able to do, or they foresee, if I'm at this stage now, where am I going to be 10 years from now? So that mental aspect, it has a huge, makes a significant difference on how they approach. And to be honest, and this is heartbreaking, but because of that, I think a lot of people, I don't want to say throw in the towel, but they just do not see a bright future, and that really again has an impact on how they recover physically.
Oh, yeah. I mean, a positive attitude, that's the first thing I deal with when I
Yeah,
coach people. We have to
right.
talk about your attitude about everything, but especially towards aging, because
Yes.
there's this societal thing about, oh, you're getting old. Well, you shouldn't expect to be able to do that. You're getting older.
Yeah, you hit it on the head. I hear that so often. Oh, that's just part of aging. I'm going to need a walker eventually. I'm going to need a cane eventually, and it does. It really boggles my mind to have that type of mindset. And I think, like you said, when you're in that frame of mind, that it's almost like planting that seed that it's inevitable, and that's all we have to go on. But yes, I hear that so often. It's just part of aging, the golden years. What can we say? And oh
Yeah.
no, it does
And
not have to be that way.
no, it's the same. People say, well, I've got part-timers, meaning they sometimes forget things. Like it's supposed to be that way as you get older. You're supposed to
Right.
forget things. You're supposed to not
Yeah,
be able to plan, but that's absolutely not true. We have the
exactly.
choice to not let that happen.
Without a doubt, without a doubt. We have so much control of that. We really do.
Yes.
I have people I work with in their 80s and 90s who you would never know the way they move, the type of activities they're involved in. I actually had a woman, 93. This was a couple weeks ago. She had broken her wrist, and her first question to me was, "When can I return to playing tennis?" That was her first question. 93. When can I return
Wow.
to playing tennis? So that,
Now,
you
and
know
she's
exactly.
gonna she's gonna be playing tennis in no time because that's her
Exactly.
attitude. Yeah.
Exactly. That is it. Right.
So, Erik, why do you think so many seniors aren't getting the appropriate care? Like they're kind of led down this, well, you're getting older, so here it is. What is that?
Right. Well, I think I really feel that's due to the way we approach medicine and health and wellness. I think societally, and also our healthcare system. And I'm in the United States, so I'm speaking for the United States primarily. But we live in a society where we react. It's reaction based. So after the injury, after the illness, after the fall, after we're unable to get out of our chair, all of these things that should have been done much sooner. They could have all been prevented. But again, because we live in that reactive mode, that paradigm that, oh, I will go see the doctor now that I have this pain in my back, I will treat this now rather than it before. So if we can ever shift the paradigm to a prevention mode, to that type of mindset, like I said earlier, so much of what seniors are now saddled with, so much of that could have been prevented, so much of it. So I really do. I think it all stems because we are in that reactive mindset. The medical system is in that reactive mindset, and it has to be shifted to prevention. And again, so much of what we're dealing with as seniors could be abolished, or at the very least mitigated, at the very least delayed or mitigated.
Right. I agree with you 100%. And it's not just physical impairment, it's mental impairment and
Yeah,
mental
yes,
health,
yes.
right?
Right.
Because it's like people don't realize that little signals can lead to big things later on.
Right.
And like you said, and I think also insurance companies, so the medical system itself is one thing, but insurance companies don't
Yeah.
pay for prevention.
Well, again, that you're exactly right, Kate. No, there is not anything for prevention. With my practice, that's what I do. I do all prevention therapy now, and unfortunately it's all out of pocket. There is not any subsidies for prevention-based therapy, or in medical in general. I think I can say that
Yep. Yeah,
without
brain health
repeal.
either. If they
Yeah,
want to look after their cognitive future and they come to
right.
someone like me, a brain health coach, they're going to have
Yeah,
to pay, and to
right,
get all the testing and everything, because it takes,
right.
a certain amount of testing, blood tests, and I'm sure you have to deal with that too with your clients. It's so sad that if they would just think a little bit, if the insurance companies and the medical systems, and Canada too,
Yeah.
it's exactly the same.
Uh-huh.
Think a little bit ahead so that you're not forking out tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands later.
Without a doubt. It is. I mean, they could save themselves so much more money. I have people who go to rehab for 60 days, and I can only imagine what that rehab is costing the
Yeah.
insurance companies. When again, that could have been all prevented, all of
Yep.
it. So
Yeah.
it does not make any sense. No.
No, it doesn't. So let's get to how then we can help our listeners increase
Yes.
their own quality of life, their own mobility. What are the steps that they can do on their own if, say, they don't have money to hire someone like
Right.
you? What
Right.
can
Right.
they
Right.
do?
Well, let me ask you this: if there was a medication, if there was a pill you could take, and it prevented cancer. Let me say this: it prevented, or at the very least, delayed or mitigated it. Cancer, heart disease, neurodegenerative diseases across the board, diabetes. If there was a pill you could take and it would 50, 60, 70% prevent any of those from ever having to deal with any of those diseases, would you take that pill? I mean, would you
Oh,
take it multiple times a day? I mean, and
100%.
and that pill, that medication, we can all do. It's exercise. I mean, I'm sure your listeners were already queuing in on that, but it's exercise. There is no doubt about it now. The research is substantive. They've concluded that exercise is that powerful. It has that much of an impact where it can 50, 60, 70% prevent those major diseases from ever entering our life. So exercise, of course, is the key. And you can do so much in the privacy and the comfort of your home in terms of exercises. A lot of what I give my clients is all based in their home. They do not have to go to a gym. They do not have to pay any types of monthly installments. It can be all done from their home. And these exercises will hit all the major. When I tell people exercise, I'm speaking about strength, stability, mobility, and cardiorespiratory response. If you can include those four components in an exercise, those are the exercises that are going to make an impact later down the road for your quality of life and your health span. And again, these exercises can be all done. Are you sitting in a chair, Kate?
I'm actually standing, but
Oh, you are. Oh, even
yeah.
better. I should have known better. But just standing at your desk, there is literally hundreds of exercises you could do right from that position. So I have people at their kitchen counters doing exercises. I have people doing exercises from their bed. I have people doing exercises from their recliners, from their couches. There are literally thousands of exercises that, again, contain those four components of what an exercise should really entail, that you can do all from your home. For instance, let's say you're at your kitchen counter and you just washed some dishes. You could back up from the counters, your hands are on the counter, you could back your feet up, you can engage your abdominals, and you can start doing push-ups right from the kitchen counter sink. A great upper body exercise. You can then incorporate a knee lift alternating after the push-up, and you start to get more aerobic. So you get the aerobic portion of the exercise. You can do it with one arm and alternating the other leg. You start to incorporate stability and mobility. But again, there's just a slew of exercises that you can do from the comfort of your home that will, and it doesn't, and this is maybe the best part, there's not a lot of time involved. I call it micro dosing. You can do these exercises throughout the day with any activity you're doing in your home. So it's not something that's going to take a lot of time. There's no money involved. But again, it's like making a deposit into an annuity. You're just compounding that over the years. And the last 10 years of your life, you could be out playing tennis or on the golf course rather than, recline to your chair. So
Yeah.
it all can be done from your home, though. It's the take home message.
I love what you said about, like, even at the kitchen sink. My dad had
Yeah.
a couple of strokes several years ago. And even in his rehab, they're saying, to exercise against the sink. And as contrary as he is, he loves doing those. I catch him because he's got a TV there in the kitchen now. So he'll watch TV and he'll be pushing against the counter there and lifting his legs. And
Right.
and it all contributes. I mean, his strokes were like 4 years ago, and he's actually a little stronger now than he was before then, because now he's paying attention, right? That's the thing.
That's
People
it.
start paying attention,
I
right?
know. Yes. Yep. No doubt about it. That's a great message too. I tell when I first start with a client, that is one of the first questions I ask them. It's the 5-year question. Where you are right now, picture yourself 5 years from now, and are you going to be able to do the activities you want to do? Are you going to be able to enjoy life the way you are now? Are you going to be able to live where you are right now? Are you going to be able to have the relationships you have right now 5 years from now? And that kind of gets the wheels turning on, where am I at now? And if I'm already having difficulty walking upstairs, and 5 years from now, what is that going to look like? So
Does
yeah,
that mean you're going to have to leave your home?
exactly.
And then where do you
Exactly.
go?
Right.
Like that's a frightening
Yeah.
idea. I think that's why Dad was so anxious to look after himself, because he did not want to live in one of those assisted living. He had to go to one shortly after his strokes, and he was there for like 2 months, and he's like, I can't live like this. I've got to get out of here. So,
Yeah.
you know,
I mean, everybody makes their own decisions, but I would never want to end up there. No, no, no. So, but
no.
again, it
We
does
have the
not.
power. I love that your
Yes.
message is, it doesn't have to cost anything.
Oh,
It doesn't have to cost a lot of time.
exactly.
You don't have to
Yep.
be an exercise guru to do
No,
it.
you really don't. No. And on all of those, you're exactly right. And even the effort, I mean, it's going to take a little effort, but it's nothing like, it's not going to be some arduous journey through doing squats all day or lunges. It's nothing like that. But again, the payoff can be that much significant, even from that perspective. So anyone can do this.
I'm sorry, Eric, how can people figure out how they are now? You have a question here about how can they assess their functional mobility?
Oh,
Because a lot of people
yeah.
don't have any clue about where they are right
Right.
now.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. I have an assessment. I call it the elevator test. And you can literally do this in an elevator. That's how much space you need in the time it would take, like, to travel up 6 floors. 30-second assessment. And what you do from a standing position, you squat down as far as you can squat down, And then from there, you walk your hands out in front of you and you walk your legs back. So you are in like you're in a position to start a push-up. You lower yourself to the floor, pause. You turn over on your back, pause. You turn to one side, you prop a leg up, and then you stand back up. It's that simple and easy, and that will give you tremendous feedback on your mobility, just that little assessment. And if you struggle with any aspect of that test, or if you need assistance, or you
Can't
can't
get up
do
off the
any,
floor.
you can't get up off the floor, exactly, then that is a big red flag that you have a mobility problem and that it needs to be addressed right then and there. Because again, age can be ruthless. Father time, as they say, is undefeated, but we can slow that time down. We can modify that time. But if that elevator test I just described, again, if you have any portion of that, what you're struggling with, that is a sign that, again, you have a mobility deficit and it needs to be evaluated and assessed immediately. And you have to start incorporating interventions to protect against any further decline and to enhance is what we're really after. So
Right.
that's a
So
nice, simple way to do it.
do you have that somewhere on your website, or is there
I
somewhere people
do.
can? Oh, good.
Yes,
Good.
yes, yeah. Yep. And if they like, they can shoot me an email. I'd be happy to send a video of it also, or
Oh,
whatever way
awesome.
they like. Yeah, be
So
happy
what's
to.
your website? Before I forget to ask you, what's your website and how can they reach you?
It's the gatewaygroup.com, and Gateway is GAIT. The Gateway
Gate.
Group. Get it?
The
Yeah.
gateway.
I had to
Right.
throw that in.
That's good, but that's good. Yes. And so
Yeah.
they can find you there. I'll make sure I put that in the show
Oh,
notes so
thank
people
you.
can just click on it and go, because that is just exactly the kind of assessment that, I mean, we do assessments for brain health too, right? We have a very
Yeah.
simple little assessment people can
Yeah.
do to
Right.
measure the same thing. Wow, where am I cognitively? Was
Yeah.
I not able to draw that clock
Yeah.
properly? So there are little assessments that we can do
Yeah.
before it gets out of hand.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. It's a wake-up call. And I have so many people and they tell me, oh, I'm fit. I walk 5 days a week, or I play golf every other day. And I have them take that elevator test and they're blown away. They can't get up off the floor, like you said. It can be really, really a wake-up call for a lot of people. So
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
sure. One of the things I try to do all the time is I try not to use anything to help me get up from anywhere. So even if I'm on the floor,
yeah,
I'm just trying to use my thigh muscles, the leg muscles to get
right,
up off instead of, just putting your hand down on the floor and giving a push up. Because I
right.
understand, I can't remember where I read it about leg muscle strength being so important to brain health. Of course, that's where I'm always going, right? Because I want my brain to stay healthy. But that is
Right.
one simple thing. Just can you get from a squat up without touching anything? Because my
Right.
husband can't. And a lot of
Yeah.
people I know can't do it. And it's not like they're not fit.
Statistically, 75% of people over the age of 65 cannot do that. 75% cannot get off the floor without using their assistance from their arm or yes, it's astonishing. It really is.
Yeah.
But it's
So that's a good thing to work toward, really,
yeah,
because it's going to tell you how you're progressing. If you can do that and you haven't been able to
right.
do that before, that's a really simple little measure.
Yes, yes, yep, definitely. Yeah. It is uh I spoke about that statistic and just to give you more feedback about that, 70, and this is United States bound also. This is
Right.
regarding the United States. 70% of the population in the United States does not exercise consistently. 70%. And again, we spoke before how impactful it can be in preventing diseases, yet 70% of people do not exercise consistently. And I think a lot of that, again, falls back to we're such in that reaction based mindset where we're not proactive. We don't only after the problem when we start exercising. But
Yeah, that's kind of scary to think that only 30% of the
yeah,
population exercises in a
Right.
consistent way, because
Right.
people will go, they join the gym at the beginning of the year and then they never
Yes.
go back again after January 15th.
Right. Right.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Be-
Yes.
yeah, because they feel chunky after Christmas or whatever holiday.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
so this is a really good point that um we need to be proactive all the time, whether it's your brain health, your physical health. So, what is the most important question a senior should ask themselves regarding their health? Is that the 5-year thing that you were talking about?
Yes, I would definitely, I would get a piece of paper out and a pen, if people use that anymore, a piece of paper and a pen. And I would answer that question, and I would go deep into that question, like we were speaking earlier. What do I want to be doing 5 years from now? Where do I want to live? Like you said, Kate, 5 years from now. What relationships do I want to? I mean, your health and wellness is going to affect all that and much more. So take 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and write down that 5-year question. Go deep into it. And I think that's a really good starting point for people to start to evaluate where they are. And then on top of that, try the elevator test also. And if you cannot complete that elevator test, that 5-year forecast is not going to be looking very good. So I think those are
Yeah.
two great starting points for people.
So people, they go on about how much longer people live these days. Like we live a long time. Some people, lots of people live to be 90, but they're in a wheelchair in a nursing home. So
Right.
what's the difference between health span and longevity
Yeah, that's a
and
great one.
lifespan?
And life, yeah, I look at lifespan is how long you live, and I look at health span is how well you live. So, like you said, Kate, you can live until you're, and it's happening statistically. People are living older, and I mean, people are living to older ages now across the board. But are are they actually living, or are they existing? Are they really enjoying life? Or do they have any quality of life? And unfortunately, I think quite a few of them are just existing. They do not have much quality of life at all. And if you look at the diseases I spoke about earlier, they are all on an upward trend. And if you look in, what they're predicting even in 2030, the rate of metabolic inflexibility, the rate of diabetes. I mean, it is
The rate of
skyrocketing.
Alzheimer's?
Alzheimer's is, I
Yeah.
mean, I think I read, what did I read the other day? Like it's, I think 55, you would probably know 55 million people now
Yeah.
are diagnosed with some type of cognitive decline disease.
Yeah. And
That
and that
number,
is in 90% of the time, literally 90% of the time, it's preventable.
and it's
Only about
preventable.
10% is genetic. There are
Yeah,
components of genes. And I'm
yeah,
sure there must be some component to that and how strong people's muscles can be and that sort of thing and how much they actually can work out. But the bottom line is for most people, we have the choice of longevity and lifespan or health span,
right.
Yeah.
And you can have the best of both, though. You
Yes,
can
you
live a
can.
long life and you can thrive into your later years. You can
Yep.
thrive. Absolutely.
Like your
I,
93-year-old lady with
like,
a broken wrist who's going to
no
play
doubt.
tennis.
She may drop on the tennis court at 98, but if she does, that is how she would want it. So,
Right. Right.
give her all the credit. But yes, you can have the best of both worlds. You can live to an older age and you can enjoy it. You can have experiences, opportunities that are unlimited. So, by all means,
Travel
travel.
to, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's all
I
there
see.
for you.
I live here in Ecuador, and Eric, it breaks my heart how many of the people who retired here are not doing anything for their health. I mean, it's like I see them at the bars and at the
Yes,
parties and playing
yes,
cards, but
yeah.
they aren't out there moving and
Right.
and protecting. They have such a gift. It's such a
Right.
gift to be able to live somewhere like we're living
It must
in
be
Ecuador on the
beautiful.
beach,
Wow.
and people are just not, and you see it everywhere. People live in gorgeous communities in
Right.
Florida or Arizona or
Right.
whatever, and they can't even enjoy them.
Right, right. Yeah. What really prompted me to get into the prevention-based therapy, I had a gentleman, just like you're explaining. This was probably about 4 years ago. He was vastly successful. He had owned multiple business, very wealthy, beautiful house, beautiful family, and I was seeing him due to back pain. Unfortunately, he had had a fall, and I went to visit him, and he was literally on his deathbed. He had contracted pneumonia. His oxygen saturation was just plummeting, and I'll never forget. He looked at me and said, I would trade it all to have a couple more years now. He loved to go on walks with his wife on the beach, and a week later he passed away. But
Oh,
he worked himself into the ground. He never took time for himself. He traded his wealth for his health, and ultimately it was his demise. And that's what motivates me. I keep thinking of him, and I'll never forget. He looked me right in the eye and
oh.
told me I would trade it all. So, but again, you can have the best. You can be highly successful, and you can have incredible health too. It does not have to be that way, right?
Yes, you're right. You absolutely can have both, but far too many people wait until it's too late, like that poor gentleman. What a
Right,
sad story. So
right,
now I guess our message, right, is don't wait. Don't put
right.
it off to look after
Yes.
you.
Yes. And what is so ironic too is if you do start in this preventatory mindset, if you do, even if you own a business or whatever you're doing that currently, it will only enhance your success. And from a brain perspective, you'll have better clarity of thought. I mean, they work hand in hand. They're synergistic. Your health is going to help your brain, your performance. It will really improve every facet of your life.
Yep,
So I
everything.
always, yeah, I always shake my head when I see people neglecting themselves, but they're not realizing that they can be even more successful if they took care of themselves. So
Yeah, it's
it's a
and
hard
when things
decision.
come up, if you are looking after yourself, you can handle those things better. Like
Right.
just recently with my husband being so sick, he
Yeah.
got really sick, but I kept up my diet and my exercise. I may
Right.
not have been able to do the same exercises because
Right.
I wasn't home, but I was
Right.
running upstairs at the hospital. I'm not going to
Right.
take the elevator. I'm running up the
Um,
stairs. That's like one of those things that you can fit whatever it is you can do into the
right.
time that you have.
Exactly. Exactly. You can go to the grocery store and have a complete workout in a grocery store.
How do you do that, Eric?
Oh, you drive into the parking lot, right? You park far away as you can from where the entrance to the grocery store is. You can get a cart if you need it. You can lunge your way into the grocery store. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but I actually have clients that do this, and they videotape it. Their husband or their wife will videotape it, and you should see all the people that come up to them and say, "Oh my gosh, I never thought that's a fantastic." You get in the grocery store, so you can lunge, you can march, you can sidestep. There's a multiple variety of way you can work out going to the grocery store. You get in the grocery store, you can pick up a jug of water, a 1 gallon jug of water, pick another one up in the other hand. You can walk down the aisle with 2 jugs of water in each hand. If you have to bend down to get an item off the shelf while you're down there, you can squat up and down maybe 5 or 6 times. Again, there's a multitude. If you're waiting in line, for the cashier, you can place one foot in front of the other foot so you're in a tandem stance. Raise your arms up and down so you're working on your balance. There again is just a multitude of ways you can incorporate exercises into every activity you do. And I mean, you have to get over what other people think.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
your life. It's your responsibility to take care of yourself. And like I said, my clients videotape it, they send it to me, and then their friends start doing it. So it's contagious. They see the results that they're getting and they want to do it. So
I
it
love
can be
that.
done. It can
That
be done.
is so awesome. You know, what did you say? It's your responsibility, and don't worry about what other people are thinking. Who cares?
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yep. And
Especially when we get to this age, you know, we should be at the
yes,
stage where we don't, I don't care what you
right.
think.
And I tell my clients, it's the other people who should feel embarrassed for not exercising in there. It should be the other way around. So they get a kick out of that, and sometimes that'll get them going a little bit more. But yeah, again, these exercises can be incorporated into any type of activity you're doing throughout the day. So it's
Erik,
there.
that is the perfect way to close off this wonderful interview. You are such a treasure.
Well,
And
thank
I
you.
hope people will take advantage. One more time, tell us your website and I'll make sure people go. And you also have a gift, don't you, for people?
Oh yes, yeah. I can send you a link if you'd like. And as I've spoke about, I can give you 10 exercises. I call them the 10 essentials home circuit, like the ones I was talking about at that kitchen counter, but it takes you all through your home, 10 different exercises you can start with today. Let me just preface this by saying, if you have any medical contraindications, though, if you have a health problem that you're restricted from exercise, please do not do them. But if you can exercise, I'd be happy to send you these 10 home circuit exercises that, again, will start to get you going. I think you'll start to see too how you can start to incorporate exercise into your daily activities. And by the end of the day, you will be amazed at what you've done, what you've accomplished. And within weeks, you will feel the difference.
And your website one more time?
It's the Gaitway, Gaitway, gatewaygroup.com.
Gaitway Group.
Yeah.
Gatewaygroup.com. Erik
Yeah.
LeHane, you are awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been so much fun. And people, listen to Erik. We deserve to have a wonderful life for a long time. Move it or lose it, right?
There you go. No truer words have ever been spoken, Kate. Sing it from the mountaintops.
Thanks so much, Erik.
Thank you, Kate. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Brain Health Matters. I'm Kate Kunkel, and my special guest this week was Erik LeHane. You'll find many more episodes along with the latest brain health research on our website at brainhealthmatters.today. We hope you've enjoyed the show, and if there's a topic you'd like to learn more about, let us know. We'll see if we can't find someone to come on to talk about it. And your help getting the word out is very much appreciated. Subscribe, write a review, or share our podcast with those who can use some help with brain health. Thanks again for joining us. And until next time, remember, it's never too early to look after your brain, but it can become too late. Now is the time to start.